What's up, guys? Momo-Dog here. First time I used the face cam on my YouTube channel, I think. Um, as I promised, I will be analyzing the sets I played against Ni and LowHigh, but I will have to split it up in two parts. Today, or like for now, I will be analyzing my sets against Ni, one against his Devil Jin and the other against his Brian. And some other day, I don't know if it's gonna be tomorrow or some other day, I will be analyzing my sets against LowHigh. So for now, we will be analyzing the sets against Ni. I'll be taking notes on the most interesting things you can see from watching Ni's gameplay. And I'd say let's get right into it. So how this is gonna work is we will go over the matches individually, and I will give you an insight on my thought processes pretty much. So what's going through my head while playing against Ni, and what might be going through his head while he's playing against me, pretty much. I have the videos here on Ni's YouTube channel. Shout out to him. He uploaded everything on his full VOD channel. If you want to check those videos out without my commentary, feel free to check Ni's YouTube channels out. He has everything uploaded there. And for good measure, I will also make the video a bit more quiet so you can hear me over the video. So, first match. Against Ni, the very first matches usually tended to go very badly for me because Ni has such a strong layer 0 with Devil Jin. 5 seconds into the first game and I'm already launched. Ni's electric placement is insane. You probably already know this as a Mishima player if you're watching this. Electrics are the strongest when tied with movement. Not only is Ni's movement insane, his execution is also insane. I am very happy to have gotten to play against a player like that, and I learned a lot from playing against this Devil Jin, and also the tips he gave me after. For now, the first round is not that special. A lot of poking going on. That was an electric misinput on his side. I get a lucky float here, but I'm pretty sure I went for a fancy combo here that didn't work out in the end. I want to immediately break the wall, but my follow-up didn't go through properly. And you can see LowHigh cringing at my combo. I had a read on his heat burst there, but Dominic 2 is way too slow to beat heat bursts, and my health sweep doesn't connect in time, so I lose that round. Already into the second part of the stage. He's starting off with a sidestep electric, and as you can see, he uses a lot of electrics with Devil Jin, whereas I don't use as many. I should be focusing more on using more electrics, but using electrics in a way that they don't become too obvious isn't as easy as you think, so that's gonna take quite a while to implement for me. Back forward 2-1 at the wall. I know he's -10, but pressing into back forward 2-1-2 when your back is to the wall is quite scary, so I didn't go for it. He lands a timing electric on me, and I am yet again launched. He disrespects my down too. I tried to jump over his down 1+2, which is a thing, if you time it correctly, but I didn't manage, and LowHigh laughs at me for getting hit by my own move. I get a misinput on the back 4 here, but I don't make too much of it. In general, against Ni, I felt like I can't be nervous. Like, I shouldn't be nervous. I should just try to go for my own game plan, no matter how much he counters me. And eventually I started adapting more and more against him. First 3 matches were a bit rough, but after that it gets way better for me. Took a bit of adaptation, but I got used to his Devil Jin more the more we played. I land the timing electric here, go for a neat combo. And now he's perfectly in kill range for Morning Crow Heat Smash. Usually I would go for the Morning Crow Heat Smash here, but I thought I could whiff punish, but I was too slow on the whiff punish. I know that if I eat a health sweep here, I lose, so you saw me ducking here, but I didn't commit to the duck because I was scared. And in the end, he roused me off the round by healing and me taking too much damage. So this was match 1. What do we take from match 1? Ni has insane electric timings and insane movement. And that combined makes his electric so scary to deal with. So what do we say here? We say insane electric and movement. Actually, let me put this on a new column. So one thing you can already try to copy from Nice Devil Jin here is that your electrics become 10 times scarier if you have good movement to combine them with. Because that way, not only will it become less obvious, but chances are that while you're trying to deal with those electrics, you will get hit by the electric anyway, because the timing changes of those electrics because you move a lot. The most obvious thing you can do, for example, is just dashing in and do an electric, which Ni does do from time to time on a very layer 0 gameplay, but you don't see him do that a lot when he's actually trying to hit you with an electric. So this was match 1. It takes quite a while in between matches to... I skipped too much. Get to the next match, since we played over crossplay, PC to PS5. But should be fine. Knee drops his combo here. I tried to whiff punish with standing 1-2, but it didn't work out. I duck for his electric here. This is how I tried to counterplay his electrics. I dash into his face and duck. And if my timing is right with it, I will manage to punish his electrics. But against Knee, that's not a consistent counter at all. We are both moving around a lot since we're both kind of scared to press into each other. But eventually you just have to press a button, and for us it's either electric or 4-4-2 most of the time. He sees my back 1 whiff. Note how he backdashes here. Note how Knee backdashes here. He lands a down 2. This is something I mentioned before. He lands a down 2, he's +6, but he doesn't want to use his frames. He knows I will try to disrespect. He backdashes and has his electric locked and loaded. This is how you whiff punish properly. He backdashes 1, and he has in mind that he wants to whiff punish if he sees me whiffing and has his electric locked and loaded. That's step 2. These two things are important. Whiff punishment is also somewhat a mental thing. You have to be ready for a whiff. And he was super ready for me to press into him after hitting that down 2. A lot to learn with, because he also skipped out on his plus frames here, which you don't see a lot of players do. As you can see, I'm still trying to duck for electrics. I hit a down 2 and I use my plus frames over 4-4-2. This time I step around this electric, but I should be more ready for a whiff when I'm sidestepping. So getting an electric launch punish here wouldn't have been impossible at all. I land a 4-4-4, but I don't want to go for a risky mix-up. I have the life lead. When I have a huge life lead, I'm more scared to hell sweep, because if my hell sweep ends up getting blocked, I will lose the entirety of my life lead. I get an electric miss input, my down 4-2 whiffs, which is unfortunate. He gets a full whiff punish. Knee's whiff punishment is insane. I sidestep his CD3, and yet again, I should be whiff punishing more heftily. I should be ready when I'm sidewalking for that whiff. And it was a huge whiff, so it would have been very easy to get an electric launch punish. He lands a 4-4-2 on me, runs over. I don't use my plus frames on Dominic 2, since I want to kind of scare him. My Wisering Force ended up getting blocked a lot after Dominic 2, so instead I tried to fake a mix-up and wave dash into him to see if he reacts to me, and he didn't. He mostly stayed in a defending position. Wiring 3 for chip damage and pressure. I still don't use my plus frames because Knee doesn't like to press into my plus frames at all, so I just try to be very chill with them. He lands a Wisering 2 on me ducking. I thought he would hell sweep. Then I guess wrong again. 2 wrong guesses and the round is pretty much over again. And this is a very common phenomenon. The back 1-2 here not landing has been a thing for ages. What you should be doing instead is down forward 1-2, because that actually connects on this axis. But 1+2, for example, the homing mid-mid, and back 1-2 in this situation will consistently get blocked if they get a wall tag like that. So if they turn around, they will have enough time to block, making it very annoying to use these moves to whiff punish. Instead, use down forward 1-2, because that move will actually connect for a full wall split here. And that's match 2. I don't stay ducked for long enough, and he delays his low to the point where I get it anyway, even though I ducked at first. Oops, skipped out too much. Probably dropped the combo here. Yeah, dropped my combo here. I stopped going for this route specifically. Simply because down 4 3-4 tends to be very inconsistent here. But I have an alternative that does more damage, which is electric 2 jab into instant Wisering 3 and then morning crow 3. So something to know for you guys. And I'll very quickly take some notes on match 2. So what we took from match 2 is that Knee is always ready for a whiff and thus always ready for a whiff punish. And that's also something to always keep in mind. Could have punished that while standing free, instead I get a very weird down one, but ended up salvaging it by blocking his hell sweep. I docked here because it wasn't even necessarily a hard read on the hell sweep. I just thought that if he drops the combo, maybe he will try to salvage it by going for a mix-up instead, and that's why I somewhat had a read on a low here, and it ended up being the hell sweep. I tried to pressure him a lot at the wall. That was standing 1-2, I hoped it land on counter hit, but it didn't. So instead, I end up getting launched here. I don't like to press after the heat smash on block situation. Especially not against him, since he does go for the jab guesses, so I kinda don't wanna I kinda don't wanna put myself into a mix-up, so I usually tend to just not press anything after the heat smash on block. Knee also doesn't immediately use his plus frames after Dominic 2. Instead, he goes for some pressure with electric, Waivu electric. And the next time, for example, he could just go for a mix-up instead, because I'm conditioned to not press into his Dominic 2, even though he didn't even use his plus frames. He tried to heat burst, I land my heat smash. And he jabs me out of my 4-4-4. He did see before that I used this on Oki quite a lot. So now I'm in a defending position. I thought I would get the sidewall split here, where down 4-4-4 is guaranteed, but sadly that ended up not being true. I get a lucky timing on my last down 4, however, and I win the round. Punishes for 2-4 immediately, and note how he uses his electric here. This is very interesting. He had a read that I would eventually start sidewalking on wake up, because Devil Jin here is in a position where he would usually mix you up. So instead, he went for electric instead of a mix-up, because he knew I would try to counter that mix-up. And not only did he just do an electric here, check this, there's a very slight detail here that makes it even more scary. He didn't go for the electric immediately, he dashed on my wake-up before doing that electric, in order to actually reliably realign with me and catch me properly. This makes a huge difference while using an electric. Slight movements can make you realign and thus catch your opponent trying to move around your electric, or your mix-up for what it's worth. That's what makes someone like Knee using an electric so much more special than, like, be it me or someone else. I land a timing electric here, which is pretty nice. But I don't think it's enough to... Yeah, I dropped the combo here. I did land a 4-4-2, but he goes in and mixes me up instead. He's fearless at this point, because he knows he has the life lead. He doesn't have much to risk, especially while he's in heat. I have a read on him not pressing anything after the heat smash on block. 2-jab actually connects here, but I end up eating a hell sweep and losing the game anyway. But from here, I had somewhat of a revelation in my mind. No, I haven't lost the game yet, but let's watch this round, then I will tell you what I had in mind after this match. And also look at this. Very all over the place right now, but look how he dashes into me and baits out my keep out perfectly. He knew that I would try to keep him out with an electric because he got hit by the electric prior. So instead he went for a small step or backdash. He mixes those up usually, and waited for my electric, and the moment he saw my electric, bomb. As if he were shooting out a pistol or something. Immediately whiff punished me with an electric, and I ate the full launch. Another timing electric, and those were a pretty cool combo here, but this ender turned out to be very weird. And here he tried to step my catch on wake up with an electric again, but this time I got the timing right. Should have gotten a bannered punish on this though. This is also something I learned from playing against Knee. If I make someone whiff, I should be more greedy with my punishes, and especially more ready. Same thing happens here. Baits my keep out with a dash in, and then immediately sidesteps. From Devil Jin's optimal whiff punish range. So let's write this down. So Knee stays on his optimal whiff punish range. And baits and launches me. But after the third match, I had somewhat of a revelation. So hard to pronounce. I had in mind that, okay, if he's always gonna bait my keep out like that, then I don't have to fear anything, because if he just dashes into me but doesn't press a button, I can just mix him up instead if I want to. And I should have less fear while mixing him up, because in the end, he's also just a human being. He will also guess wrong a lot. So what I realized here is, okay, I now know what he's trying to do to counter me. And in order to counter that, I will just go on with my playstyle, but I will place my buttons very differently. So like when he dashes into me, I won't be afraid to, for example, press a 4-4-2 or a hell sweep instead of a keep out electric, or maybe even a 4-1, or in general maybe even more lows. Like I kind of switch up the buttons I want to press against him. So we go on to the Arena Underground stage. This is match 4. I go for the 4-4-2 as I said, and even 4-4-4, since he mostly was trying to counterplay my electrics. I went for more mids here. Look how Ni also mixes up his mix-up timings. This is very interesting. I duck for his keep out up for 1, even though I intended to actually duck for an electric here. I go for the Oki ender, and now he's in a very scary position. Both me and him actually, because the first one to get a launch here gets a full wall blast. That's why we're both trying to move out of the wall. We are both trying to sidestep away from the wall, because we both know that we're gonna die here. Someone gets a wall blast. I go for the heat smash after dummy 2, because I know he tended to sidestep and then electric, for example, so I wanted to catch that since the heat smash is homing. Going for some slight offense. I thought he would electric into my down 2, but he only jabbed, so my Wising 2 didn't end up being a proper punish. I guess right and jab him out. I go for some Oki here, but it wasn't worth it because he was very ready for it. Or let me paraphrase that. I thought he wouldn't be ready for that down laser exactly because of that wall blast behind him. So I was thinking, okay, he would probably be a bit too busy thinking about the wall blast. I thought I could spike him into a cheeky down laser, but no, he is way too ready for that. So it didn't work out in the end. I duck for yet another keep out up for 1, but I drop my combo. But I guess right on the mix-up, and thankfully win the round. I don't know why I ducked here. There's no reason for me to be eating that. Not much thought behind it, I just ate it. There you go, I finally countered it. And now his back is to the wall. I do not end up using my advantage properly, but everything is still fine, as long as I don't get launched into a wall blast. So now it's my turn to have momentum. I'm mostly trying to get a wall blast here. As you can see, I hit him with the hell sweep. He's in killing range now. One Morning Crow heat smash will kill him. I go for the Morning Crow heat smash and win the game. So what we got to learn from match 4 is Ni started getting hit by more mids since he tried to counterplay my electric so much. And as a result of that, my sweeps started connecting. And thanks to that, I got some pretty neat wall blasts, which ended up winning me entire rounds. So the solution to my problem was very simple. He keeps ducking for my electrics, or he keeps trying to counterplay them up close. I start using tracking mids instead. Since he dashes into me a lot, up 4-4 has very slight tracking when you go to the left. So he used that to kind of clip me. And what happened here is that I land a wake-up kick on block though, so I'm like -9, I believe. And I tried to be cheeky and tried to hell sweep him here, thinking he wouldn't expect it when he doesn't try to punish, but he immediately interrupted me. I got a nice mix-up here though, into a wall blast, which is pretty good damage. But he's nowhere near killing range. I would have to hell sweep in order to kill him here. So instead, I go into the defending position and block his hell sweep and win the round. This time he blocks my hell sweep though, but since he's off access, the combo drops. And yet again, on my wake up when I'm trying to sidestep his mix-up, he delays his electric slightly and hits me with it. trying to poke him out a bit, so I got some room to breathe and to get away from the wall. As you can see, I also use down make 2 a lot in order to counter his electrics, since that move does have a high crushing purpose. But most of the time it just hits him for standing. Also, the Afrika bot had a few cuts here and there. So on YouTube you will see a few cuts here and there, which is not intentional at all. But not much you can do here, sadly. He lands a mix-up on me after the heat engager. But the round is nowhere near over. I can still come back this if I land a launcher, for example. I just have to land a proper launcher, so I tried to go for a timing electric. But it's a bit rough. He hits me with the 442, and then he has a read on my wake-up kick and roaring freeze. So Knee is mostly still trying to counter what I'm doing. But when he has room to breathe, since I become hesitant once he counters my stuff, he starts going in instead with his mix-ups. Here you can see him move around on that range again, the range that I mentioned before, in order to counter my electric. And since I was more patient with my electric this time around, he got hit instead. This is also a bit of advice that I got from Knee. Be more patient with your electrics. The more your opponents try to anticipate it, the more likely it is that they will get hit by it when you delay it more and don't throw it out on the same timing as usual. Land some mix-ups here and there and win the round. We both tried to electric here from our optimal with punish ranges. He lands a timing keep out electric on me. Knee is very good in playing keep out. I guess that's a benefit you have from playing Brian so much. Brian is a keep out god, so Knee is very good in playing the keep out no matter what character. I tried to jab him out of his offense, I guess right in the shackle situation. And let a heat engager. And heat engager in this situation is a very great comeback tool, since I regained so much health and now I'm in a mix-up position. I do the heat smash here because no other move would have reached to land on the wall slump, like the 50% slump, so I wanted to take the damage. And I think I'm eating a 4-4-2 here, yes. And I kinda had a read on his back 3 here since he used it before in this very round. So I dashed before, so I wavered before pressing my 4-4-2. So what did we learn from this match? Knee is still playing around his optimal range. So what I do instead is I delay my timings. And this was beneficial because eventually he started getting hit by my electrics again, since I didn't throw them out in the same timings as before. And this will kind of mess with his counterplay. He will have to change things up a bit. Right. I parry in order for him to not be able to use his plus frames, which Knee tends to not do much anyway, but I kind of had the read here, since he probably thought I would press into him. And he's still kind of playing around that same range, but I just gotta change my shit up a bit. He keeps ducking for my keep out electrics, since ducking is the easier option at this point for him. But I land the back to free and neutral while I'm in heat. There's no risk in pressing back to free here. If it lands on block and I heat dash, I am still plus. So I thought there's no reason for me not to risk it here. This respects my plus frames on down make 2, which I could have countered with a Bystander 2, for example, which you will see me do later. But for now, I just have to get away from the wall somehow. So I Bystander 2 in hopes of him not pressing a mix-up in time. I got the grounded down make 2. I hit the 4-4-2. Mess up my wall combo, but it's fine. He tried to make a comeback with the hell sweep, and I punished him for it. I guess right in the mix-up, I could have died for it here as well, if he went for a 4-4-2 into heat dash, for example. Going for the Oki ender, and thought he would maybe try to move away from the wall, since he usually does that a lot. So I went for the Bystander 2, but he guessed right on my mix-up. So instead, we're back to playing the neutral. I tried to use 4-4-4 a lot in order to catch him ducking maybe, but that didn't turn out to be very successful, and he wins the round with a very nice combo. I knew he would try to catch me here after down 4-4-4. Maybe he thought I would try sidewalking or something. But I just respected that by ducking his electric and immediately launching. Getting a lot of misinputs here and there, but managed to lock him down with back 4-2-1. And since he didn't try to take his frames here after the 4-4-2, I thought I might as well disrespect. Tries to parry my charge down back 1+2, but it does too much damage, so I win this game. Not much to take from this match, actually. Only thing to take is that Knee, like in this match, still kept trying to disrespect my down back 2, for example. Which I can, in turn later, get a lot of mileage by, for example, pressing a Western 2 after. And this is just one of many sequences that I could change things up on, but it's just one example I want to give you, like a very specific example. Like, you saw him sidestep electricking after eating my down back 2, so something that would hit him instead is down back 2 Western 2. And things like this you have to always keep in mind, because there are also chances that they are ahead of your mind game, ahead of your solution, so maybe he will actually just keep blocking the next time around instead of pressing a sidestep electric, and then my Western 2 might not work, since he already has the read on me having the read. Playing against Knee is very mentally draining. Let me tell you that. You're always on layer 1 billion pretty much on mind games. So if your mind games are not strong, you're gonna struggle a lot against Knee. On to the next match in Midnight Siege. With my Western 2, I thought I would maybe catch his movement with that one. Western 2 is pretty good to catch random movement or sidewalks. But instead I went to bull now and I ate a hell sweep. I'm at a huge life deficiency, but I know that I can still make the comeback on this match. Unfortunate electric drop, and I panicked with the 1-1 on block, and Knee has the muscle memory to always launch 1-1-2 on block, which is insane to me. I tried to make the comeback with up 4-1. This is a very funny round. I used the up laser as an anti-air against this back 3. He really wanted that back 3 on block since he could heat dash with it, and then still be plus even after using a panic move. But in the end, I was to a very dumb sequence instead. Landing another down back 2 and countered, since he does do sidestep into button here and there. I managed to sidewalk left his Y standing 2. I gain a lot of mileage out of this. But I fuck up the wall blast, and instead I kill him by landing a mix-up instead. He knows that I pressed down back 2 at round start so often that he went for down 4-2 instead, which isn't dumb at all. Back 4 would have also worked here, but down 4-2 at round start beats more options than a back 4, because some round start options tend to be really fast. He's in heat, so I don't want to really sidewalk. Instead, I'm trying to wait for a whiff and then whiff punish. Since he was on that range, there's nothing that would have hit him except for up forward 1. If he were closer, I would have tried going for an electric whiff punish. I don't tech roll for the second hit, and he gets some wall key going instead. I lose the round 2, guessing wrong. He sidewalks my Western 2 this time. This is what I mean. Since he went for sidestep electric to disrespect me after my own down back 2, I thought Western 2 would work here. But since I was so off axis, one mini sidestep made my Western 2 whiff. I had the read and it should have worked here, but since it was off axis, it didn't work, so I had to think of another solution. I should have ducked for at least one of these sweeps, but ducking at the wall is so scary. In the open, ducking is whatever, but at the wall you kind of have to second guess whether you want to duck against Devil Jin or not. I should have stayed ducked for the 1-1 here. I had the read on his 1-1, but didn't stay ducked long enough to punish it. Notice how he keeps trying to push me back to the wall with electrics. He does that intentionally. But I got a neat combo here in order to kill him off and win the round doing that. Notice how I would have won this game if I didn't fuck up that one round where I anti-aired him with my laser and almost made a huge comeback. Small interactions like in that round can lose you an entire game. If I delayed this slightly more, it would have tracked him. Instead, I go for an up 4. Because he kept sidestep ducking into wall against me. This happened before, if you remember. I pressed up by staying 2 and he was ducking. I tried to power crush. I think power crushes on a life lead are very strong, since they tend to never be launch punishable, and should they press into you, they die. So all they can do really is block. And Ni actually stayed ducked here. I thought I could hit him with a down 1, and it would beat many options of this, but no, instead he kept blocking and started some momentum with 1-1-2. He hits me with my backdash on 4-4-2 here, and I tried to kill him off with the heat smash, but instead I end up eating a launcher here. I thought I could be cheeky with that hell sweep, but against Ni's defense it's kinda hard to land a hell sweep. So instead he wins this round off. So what do we learn in this match? In match 7 we learn that when we go back to the very first round, or I'm not sure if that was the very first round, I believe it was. Or was it the second one? Let me find it. Exactly. What was this round? I had such huge momentum here, making a comeback and all, but instead I lose it to not using my Oki properly. I saw him on the ground. I saw that he was laying on the ground, and the easiest option here would have to just do Morning Crow free for a full flip over and then a killing mix-up because he would be very low on HP. Instead, I went for Morning Crow 2-2 here, thinking he would maybe wake up and I could use my plus frames, but there was no reason not to just Morning Crow free here. He was laying on the ground in order to not have to guess. That was the main point of him laying on the ground. So what do you learn from this? Small interactions, like small interactions that you lose, can cost you an entire round and then the entire game is here. Because if I won that round, I would have won that match, which would have gotten me closer, which would have brought me closer to winning a set against Ni. So what we learned from this, try to play it safe. Morning Crow 2-2 was a very risky option here, as you can see. And Morning Crow 3, there would have been almost nothing you could do there in order to beat it. Like he would have to wake up and I get chip damage and I'm safe on block, so there's not much risk to it. Right, so we're back to the stage. I pressed into his 4-4-4 because most of the time before when he landed a 4-4-4, he didn't use his plus frames. Instead, he kept wave dashing into me. So I thought I could be cheeky and disrespect him this time, but no, he had a very tough read on me. I tried to catch him, sidestepping away from the wall with an electric. Electrics are pretty good to keep someone positioned at the wall, is what I learned against Ni. But what is also good to keep someone's position in check at the wall is using jabs. Jabs are also great to position check someone. Ni uses electrics here because he's way more confident in those than a single jab, like way more reward in an electric, and he doesn't have a tough time landing them against me. My electric wasn't deep enough, but this is actually launch punishable on hit if he was those last hits. This was pretty unfortunate because it could have won me an entire round. I tried to catch him ducking, but he wasn't ducking at all, he guessed right. So instead we're back to playing the neutral here. Both are trying to land a heat engager here pretty much. Because at this game state, landing one heat engager can win you the entire round. He goes for a sidestep electric at round start, probably because I pressed something linear at round start before. And I managed to get a step on his 4-4-2 finally. Since we were both using 4-4-2 a lot in the previous round, I thought that in order to counter that, I want to be sidewalking more again. I wanted to keep him at the wall with that 1-1-2. I thought maybe he would try to sidestep after 1-1, but instead he blocked and launched it. And now we're in a big life deficit. One mid will kill me here. Checks me again with down 4-1 and he takes that round. And a 4-4-4, but that hell sweep was pretty obvious. He knew that I would try to keep my momentum up by hitting a hell sweep here. So he had a pretty confident duck. Had I landed a 4-4-2 here after hitting that 4-4-4, I would have gotten some huge momentum. Not only because of the heat engager, but also because he would have been near the wall. So he would have had a very tough time trying to avoid my mix-ups. This time I delay my hell sweep in hopes of him not instantly ducking and committing. I tried to catch a sidewalk to the left with my bar rank 3, but bar rank 3 doesn't track as reliably as in Tekken 7. This time I didn't want to hell sweep, because he did block it before, so I went for a mid here instead. Downback 2, Wisting 2, because I thought he would disrespect with his electric again, but he didn't. So instead I get punished and get launched for trying to keep him away from me with a Wisting 4-4. Tough situation to be in. He goes for another down 3 to kill me, which he did do before. And since he did do it before, I thought he wouldn't do it again, but he did do it again. So from match 8, what we learned from this is something entirely different actually. Position checking near the wall is super important. It's important because you don't want to give your opponent a free way to move out of the wall. You want to use your advantage as much as possible. They can't backdash anything you have, not even your electric. So what you want to end up doing is you want to keep them in check with a jab or an electric and push them back to the wall that way. And should they try to press into you, because that's very likely the only option they will have at some point, a jab is +1 and electric is +5. You will just give up your plus frames if you really want to, and with punish them with either back 1-2 or back 2-3. Or if they use a high crushing move, for example, that recovers in crouch, you will just use up 4 3+4 instead and get a full wall split. So not only do you keep them at the wall, you also kind of make them press into you that way. And by doing that at the wall, you gain more mileage out of baiting a whiff and then getting a full wall split than trying to frame trap them, because trying to frame trap them gives them more of an opportunity to move away from the wall than trying to position check them and making them press into you. And that's what was going through Knee's mind here. I guess right on the mix-up again, but I failed to float in time. This time he goes for Morning Crow 2-2, and I figured he would go for that. Instead, I knew he... there's a lot going on here. So I knew that his jab would whiff here. So I went for a back 4, thinking he would maybe try to keep pressing after that jab, but no. Instead, I used my plus frames to land a mix-up, but my heat burst input got eaten here. So my combo didn't fully come out. I know that he has a wall blast behind him, so I will try to either duck a high, keep out high of his and launch it, or I will try to get a wall split in some other way. And he's trying to move away from the wall blast, as you can see. That's his main goal here. But instead, he's at another wall blast, and I can keep some great momentum up since he's so scared of the wall blast. He will keep blocking. He thought I would try to duck here maybe, or maybe even sidestep. I'm not sure. That up 4 was a hard read, and having hard reads like that is very typical Korean. They will have reads on you that you don't even realize they will ever have. So chances are that could have actually worked against many options of mine if I didn't just opt for a blocking. Go for the heat smash because there's no reason to here, really. No reason not to here, and not to do here. Because either he gets hit and I get the full wall blast and I win the round, or I am safe on block pretty much and I just land a back 1-2 wall split on him instead. Pretty advantageous position if you ask me. This time I guess wrong on the shackles situation. He's in heat, my back is to the wall, I somehow have to make a comeback by either landing a heat engager or some other way. This was pretty unfortunate because my jab got evaded by his electric, so he had a very good timing here. And I've messed up my combo, but I salvaged it with the side switch. I wish I could have gotten a wall split here, because that way I would have probably secured the entire round. But instead I lose it to heat bursting against his heat smash, which is not a smart choice at all. That Why Standing 1-1 landed uncounted. And let me tell you, Why Standing 1 uncounted, you will always be able to counter it confirm Why Standing 1-2. And then go into Morning Crow and get a free Morning Crow 1. In total, this would be like 29 damage because of the counter, or no, 28 damage, plus 6 chip damage from the Morning Crow 1. So if you think about it, Why Standing 1 isn't that bad of a counter hit tool. That's why I've been using it more recently. I'm still not that much of a fan of Why Standing 1-1, but Why Standing 1-2 I can see it having uses. Tried to go for the Oki ender here, but it didn't work out. So instead I tried to keep him at the wall with low pokes, and then tried to heat smash him trying to walk away from the wall. But his step block timing was immaculate. I knew that he would try to step in a way that would keep me in the wall, so I used up 4 to track him after down make 2. Why Standing 2 would have worked here just fine. I don't even know why I went for up 4 here. Probably because maybe he would have tried to use a poke or something against me to keep me in check. So what do we learn from match 9? Overall, you need to always be aware of your positioning. Because as you can see, we both played around the fact that a wall blast was behind us a lot. So like my heat smash threat, for example, or his heat smash threat, whenever, he tried to sidewalk a lot against my threat of heat smash to get away from the wall, not eat a wall blast into a billion damage, because Devil Jin's heat smash will trigger wall blast. So what we did was we step blocked a lot. And by step blocking, since heat smash is a bit slow, it's 18 frames fast, you will be able to step block in time a lot. So by step blocking, you not only get away from the wall safely, you also don't risk getting hit by a heat smash auto much in, like, not as much as trying to sidewalk away from the wall, for example. Sidewalking will leave you more vulnerable than step blocking. So we both step blocked away from the wall. Party stage. That 4-2 was a misinput, I'm pretty sure. Most of the time I get it for trying to demon paw. I'm in kill range, 1 health sweep and I'm dead. So I try to keep him away from me by pressing into him, but instead he has some great timing on me with that 4-4-2, and I end up losing. I had a great read on his dash electric. He probably thought I would try to sidewalk and try to track me with that dash electric, and I had a read on him trying to track me, so I went for the hard duck against his electric. I tried to bait this rage art here. Some Koreans I played against manual rage arted against my manual Morning Crow, so I thought maybe if I just manually Morning Crow against him here, he would maybe try to rage art and I get to block it and then launch him. But instead I win an intention of down make 2 and kill him. I hard duck against this electric, instead he goes for a step electric, so he changes up his timing for that electric and hits me anyway. Jabs me at the wall to position check, as I said before. Knee loves doing that with either one jabs or electrics. And then when I get hit by a jab, he went for a mix-up immediately. And it's pretty scary to duck here after a jab on hit. Either 4-4-2 wall splats me, or I get hit by the health sweep here. And both do a lot of damage as options. Here I managed to make a small comeback. I am still in heat. He's in heat. I would have might follow up, but I'm still not dead yet. I ate up for 4 wall splats, sadly, and I lose the round. Can't use these kinds of strings against Nier at all. Neither 1-1-2 nor down 4-4-4. That's also something to note against some players. I should have launched this, but back to 3 is also okay. I get a full heat engager from it, and he presses back 3, surprisingly enough. He knew that I wouldn't try to use my plus frames after the heat engager, so he went for back 3 instead. I go for some neat Oki here, and he tried to interrupt me this time, and I kill him for it. I sidestep duck here, not in hopes of trying to catch his down 4-2, but more his electric, because I thought he would try to track me again. But he got a misinput, unfortunately. So instead I sidestep duck his down 4-2 instead of his electric. Which is fine for me, I got the launch. Tried to keep me in check at the wall again. This time I used down make 2 to beat that. So what I learned from this match, I learned this a few matches prior already actually, but what to take away here is that Ni is super patient against string. So what ends up happening is he will block here, for example, down 4-4-4. He will block down 4-4-4 and 1-1-2, for example, and launch you for it. He messes up his Oki here, and I launch him for it. I go for the single charge down back 1+2 because it's so placetable. And I try to play some Oki here. I mess up my my health sweep though. So let's see how I play out this round. He's in heat, I am in heat, and the first one to heat burst will very likely win this round. I go for a heartbeat laser, and he knew that I was trying to heartbeat his heat smash here. So he didn't go for the heat smash. Instead, he went for a heat dash, which is smart, because I was constantly trying to counter his heat smash. So my mind was completely elsewhere. He manages to backdash my Western one too, which is quite surprising. I side roll. This is not guaranteed, by the way. You can side roll the second hit always, or like tech roll rather. And this time I go for an electric after heat engager in hopes of him trying to press back free again, because that way I would have gotten a full launch. But instead he pressed it here. So I kinda had the read on the move coming out eventually, I just didn't know when. And look at Ni's defense here. He's already blocked so many moves of mine, and he still makes moves of mine with. I was lucky for the forward 4 to hit, because eventually he would have just killed me instead for not killing him in time. And in Tekken 8, especially in Tekken 8, it's super important that you kill your opponent early enough, because with grey health and heat existing, comebacks are super easy to make here. You're never in a losing position in this game ever. Even when you're 1 HP, as long as you have heat available, you can win. We went back to layer 0 here, kinda. He finally went for a dash into me and sidestep again, which he didn't do in quite a while. I messed up the throw break here, and he went 0 off of that dash sidestep electric. This is a very bread and butter situation. He goes for using his frames after down make 2 for once, and note how little down make 2 uses in general. So I kinda had to read he would maybe try to Westerning 4 check me here, and I went for the parry. But here he was pretty confident in me ducking, so he went for the Westerning 2 to mix me up here. So what we learned from this match is, no matter how low HP you are, comebacks are always possible in this game. And that's why you have to kill your opponent as early as possible. That's why I was so greedy against him when he was low HP, because I knew he can always make the comeback. And luckily my 4-4-4 hit him to kill, but if he sidestepped there, for example, I was still dead. And if he went in and mixed me up, like when you're 1 HP, that's the scariest position to be in as a defender, because the reward you get from guessing right is, well, eating a health sweep against a 1 HP opponent is, it feels bad. Trust me, it feels bad. So you kind of want to avoid that happening. That's why I was so insistent on killing him. Match 12. I guess right on this mix-up here. But I get a misinput on my up 1+2, sadly. I land a 4-4-4 counter hit. Get a neat combo from it. I think I'm even killing him from here from it. Never mind. I'm in a pretty advantageous situation. And I want to kill him as early as possible yet again, because, you know, he's 1 HP. If he lands 1 launcher on me somehow and uses a 1 HP rage art on me, I am dead. He went back to his roots and did decisive electric after Dominic 2. Which I should have countered in all honesty. Tries to mix me up here with 4-4-4. I pressed into him and I die for it. And again, 1-1-2 is a very bad choice against Lee. He will always stay patient against it. So instead, you can play some mind games around 1-1. For example, 1-1 into Weiwu mix up, or, you know, any other option really, instead of finishing it. But I kept finishing it way too often, and that turned out to be my bane. Land a 4/4/4 and counter hit. Get a neat combo from it. And this time my read finally works out. I go for the Oki Ender. He manages to backdash my Morning Crow Heat Smash somehow. But it's fine. I stay patient, I block his voice sending 2 punish, and I kill him for it. Now he's starting to duck for my down back 2s more. And his sidestep electric here catches my timing. Remember that electrics are the best when type of movement. If he just immediately went for that electric, it would have not catched me. I thought I would be able to whiff punish him here with voicing 2 as I did before. Wish I didn't whiff that 4/4/2 because that way I could have maybe gotten a comeback still. Yeah, as you can see, he started ducking for my lows more because he knows that in the like when it's this close, I tend to go for lows more, and he had the read on that. So now I kind of have to either change the way I place my lows or just use more mids. And instead, I opted for another low, and he was super ready for it. So I got a misinput, and this was pretty much the match. So that was match 12. This is probably the match where there's the least to learn from. What happened here is simply Knee had way more reads on my lows here. And by doing that, he gained a lot of momentum, and I lost a lot of momentum. So what I should have done here instead is use more mids, but I didn't adapt in time. So what happened here is simply I didn't adapt in time to him going back to his layer 0, like sidestep electrics while dashing up close or after my down back 2. And that meant the loss of that match for me. Right. Perfect. So this is what we learned from this set against Knee. Since this video is already like 52 minutes long, I will I also played a set against this Brian, and I will analyze that the next few days too. For now, I wanted to upload my set against this Devil Jin. I also played a set against LowHigh's Devil Jin Mirror, and I also played against LowHigh Steve. And every set I will be individually going over and analyzing in order to see what we can learn from this. This was my set against Knee in the Mirror. I'm pretty convinced that Knee has the potential to have the best Devil Jin in the world if he puts some more time to it. And I also, I was also allowed to, I had the chance to teach him combos after ATL. So if you see him doing Momo-Dog combos anytime soon with Devil Jin, now you know why. Anyway, this was my analysis for this set. I hope you enjoyed it. It's quite long, but one or the other person will probably have learned a lot from this, so I'm pretty satisfied with this. Momo out. See you guys either the next time I stream or in the next video.